One day were Diamond Tiara out for a walk with her best friend Silver Spoon in town, and while they were walking, they just had small talk all kinds of things. When suddenly Silver Spoon brought up a topic that may actually surprise Diamond Tiara quite a bit. I'm actually a bit jealous against you. Oh, really? How so? I mean, you've been dating your boyfriend for the past 2 years, and I haven't even been able to find a boyfriend myself yet. Oh, Silver Spoon, you're still young, and so am I, and you will find a boyfriend. Just don't worry about it. I know. By the way, aren't your boyfriend coming over to Ponyville soon? For the past 2 years, Diamond Tiara, now 18 years old, have been dating a stallion all around the same age from Baltimore. But they have been more in a long-distance relationship. She first encountered him when he came to Ponyville to see his old friend who lives in Ponyville 2 years earlier. They actually hit it off as friends, and they remained in touch by letters. And over time, he came back to Ponyville from time to time to see his friend and also to spend time with her, which eventually flourished into a romantic relationship. Even though that he lives in Baltimore and she's in Ponyville, they still remain in touch by letters. And even though that she had gone to see him a few times for the past 2 years. But then, today, she was receiving something that's gonna shock her to the very core. My boyfriend actually planned coming over in a couple of days. I believe it was, if you remember, from his last letter. Oh, really? I mean, it is our 2 years anniversary soon, so I think he's planning coming over to celebrate it with me. Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, it would be very romantic if he showed up by your house, with some gifts or flowers, or perhaps even proposing. We're both 18 and I have no plans of getting married anytime soon. Well, that might be true, said Silver Spoon with a bit of a smile. But after about a few hours later, they said goodbye to each other and Diamond Tiara went home. Her parents wasn't even home yet, but one of the servants said that she had got a letter. She took it and she went to her room and started reading it. It was from her boyfriend. At first believing it was a letter that he's coming over. But to her amazed, it was complete opposite. The letter said something like, "Dear Diamond Tiara, I'm sorry, but I unfortunately won't be able to come over this time to Ponyville, and I won't be able to even coming back ever again. You may ask why. I'm sorry to mention this to you, but for the past few months I have been falling in love with someone else. I'm sorry. I think it's probably best that we end our relationship and move on. Signed, your ex-boyfriend." Diamond Tiara was at first stunned when she read it, and she read the letter over and over, at least almost 4 times, just to be sure that she read it right. But each time it said the exact same thing. She was devastated. It was only a few days until they were their second anniversary, and he just writes a letter like that and just leaves her because he had fallen in love with someone else. She couldn't even believe it. Even when her parents came home, she was still very much heartbroken. When her mom said she heard about this, and she said like, "Maybe it was best you don't even get married to that guy, that stallion." And her father was really, "I'm so sorry for you, sweetheart. It's very hard. But it's a pretty shocking that he was involved in someone else for the past few months while he was dating you. I would not allow that to happen again." he said, a little bit firm. She agreed with her dad, but she didn't agree with what her mom said. Because she first believed that her ex-boyfriend was a good stallion. But the problem is that her ex-boyfriend was a really good stallion, and he was a really good character. But it turns out that Diamond's mother, spoiled rich, never had approved him. Not at all. She even had hope that they will end up their relationship at some point. When Diamond heard this, she was furious at her own mom. But her mom just justified her only belief on it. But Diamond didn't have nothing to do with that. So for the next several days afterwards, she spent most of her time in her own room crying, or just lay in bed just staring at the ceiling. But after a couple of days, even Silver Spoon came over, and she wasn't even aware of what happened. When Diamond told her, she was shocked. He did that? But Diamond just nodded and said that she didn't want to have nothing to do with him or any stallion ever again. At least for a while now. She wasn't very much involved with this stallion for 2 years. And now she just wants to have a break from romantic affairs or something like that for at least a while, she said. Silver Spoon just nodded and said that was probably for the best. And for the next couple of weeks afterwards, Diamond went to help her dad at his business. Because one day, eventually, she would take over the business. So she just wanted to know how to operate, how to manage, how to things, and how to make good deals and all that. And her dad was actually very happy that she was showing very much interest in the family business, despite her mom's objection of this. She first had firm said that she shouldn't be involved in this, because a lady should be more like a lady, not involved in this. But Filthy Rich had firm said to his wife, if Diamond wanted to know more about the family business, she should be allowed, no matter what happens. Even though that spoiled Rich was still firm, but she couldn't do much about it, since it was her husband's business, and no one else. But one day, when Diamond Tiara was talking to Silver Spoon, she heard that Silver Spoon had received a ticket to the Grand Gala in Canterlot, and she had even received a second ticket. She didn't know if she wanted to invite Diamond Tiara to the gala, since it had only been a couple of weeks since the breakup between her and her ex-boyfriend. But since maybe it was also perhaps that she should invite her, since it would have been a good environment for many different ponies, that maybe she could just interact with other ponies to try to heal her broken heart. And it was actually even Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom's idea too, that Silver Spoon should take her. So she did. And eventually, on the day when the gala happened, Silver Spoon was really excited. Diamond Tiara was also excited, but also it bit still down. Even when Silver Spoon interacted with many of the other ponies there, Silver Spoon noticed that Diamond Tiara didn't even do much. She understood by the table whether some drink or having something to eat. She rarely interacted with any pony. She was getting a bit worried about her best friend, but she was already in a deep conversation with some pony else. It was like she just could stop talking to the pony and just move and go up to her friend. But middle of the gala, suddenly, a strange pony walked up to Diamond Tiara, asking if she would like to dance. And when Diamond Tiara saw it wasn't even a pony, but a bad pony, he introduced himself as Nightingale. He actually said that he was in fact one of Luna's royal guard, but he had his time off, or his day off, so he was able to join the gala as one of the guests. At first, Diamond Tiara was hesitating to even accept his question about dancing, but she said yes. And they started dancing and dancing almost felt like forever. But even for just only for maybe just 20 minutes or so. Afterwards, he thanked her and he then walked off to talk to other ponies. And as she stood there, she felt somehow happy. She felt quite excited. When Silver Spoon walked up to her after had noticed this interaction between her and Nightingale, she even asked who that was. And Diamond at first didn't say anything except just looking. But after Silver Spoon nodded her, or at least poked her on the shoulder, then Diamond explained. But just around the time when the gala was over, during the evening, Diamond actually noticed Nightingale, and she quietly walked up to him and asked if they could talk a little more. He nodded, and they walked out on a balcony, just two of them. He said that he was just having a good time dancing with her since he very much thought that she was very beautiful, which made her blushing, of course. She said that he was quite handsome, stunning, so even for a bad pony. But she said that was since he is the only bad pony that she much interacted with before. He thanked her and all that. But during this short conversation he had, she mentioned about her feeling hurt. He asked for what reason. Then Diamond explained to him the reason. He was really surprised that her ex-boyfriend had that audacity to do this. He's like, how could anyone even just do that to a beautiful mare like you? If it was me, I would have been ashamed myself. She blushed again and thanked him. But before then, he even asked her for her full name, and she gave it to him. She at first didn't much say thought much about it, what it's gonna be about. But after a couple of days later, suddenly, she was just out of her walk herself. When she heard a voice, she turned. Out of the blue, Nightingale stood behind her, and it mildred Ponyville. But he said that he was one of the old guard of Luna. Shouldn't he be in Canterlot? But he said that he actually had a short permission leave from duty for a couple of days. And he wanted to see Ponyville. So she was actually happy to see him for some reason. She was really glad to show him around. And she did. Afterwards, they just having a good time, and without knowing it, she had fallen in love with Nightingale. At least at first she wasn't even aware of it. But eventually, just the day before when he was going back to Canterlot, she realized of her feelings. But did she tell him? No, she didn't. Not at that moment, because she had just gotten out of another relationship before. She wasn't sure exactly if he would even like her the same way. So she kept it a secret, including for her own best friend Silver Spoon. Because the Silver Spoon found out that Nightingale had been in Ponyville. She was really surprised, but at least she was happy that she had made a friend that she was interacting with. But there was something about it that even Silver Spoon noticed every time they were talked about Nightingale. It was something about just mentioning his name or talking about it, which made Diamond Tiara smile or blushing or something like that. It was then when even Silver Spoon realized Diamond was in love with Nightingale. But she didn't say anything, just because of her friend's privacy, and she didn't want to embarrass her or anything. But after some time, Diamond Tiara was actually had fully realized she was in love with Nightingale. And one day when her dad said that he was going to Canterlot for business, And she asked him if it was possible for her to come along, and he said yes. So they went there. There was in fact one other reason. She was hoping to find Nightingale. But they were only staying in Canterlot for only 2 days. She thought maybe it was enough time for her to even to find him. But during the first day, no much luck. There was a lot of business meeting, and she didn't have enough time for that. But during the second day, when it was around lunchtime, she did. She found him just walking around the town on a break during his duty. He was even a bit of a surprise to see her, and she asked if they could talk a bit, since he was on his break, and he said sure, why not? So they did. So she said, you know, I wanted to tell you something. Yeah, sure, what is it? For the past few times, or at least for a while now, I actually been, how to say it, in love with you. Wait, seriously? Yeah, I know it is crazy, and you probably would even want to be with some pony like me, and... Wait, did I ever say that I didn't want to be with you? Wait, are you... I am serious. Really? Mm-hmm. If you want, we can try at least to see if there were any actual spark between us. At least it's worth a try, he said with a smile. Yeah, I would like that. They made plans the next weekend that he was showing up in Ponyville. And he was actually supposed to be coming over for dinner at her family's home. She had told her dad about it, and he was okay with it. But they not mention it to her mom, at least not till when they got home, that same weekend they were going to have a special guest over. And when the guests came over that weekend, Diamond was really excited and also thrilled, but also a bit nervous. And when Nightingale interacted with her father for the first time, they actually really connected pretty well. When Spoiled Rich saw it was a bat pony, she was not expecting that. Her demeanor changed from almost demanding to actually somehow pleased, or at least happy. Even after when he had left, he was standing in at a hotel in town. Diamond, yeah, Mom? Are you going to say that he isn't right for me either, are you? No. I can't say right now, but that bad pony... It's something about him that makes he, you know... I don't see how to say it. It's like... He's very mysterious. In a good way. He is honest. He is brave. He is smart. And he is handsome. And I do think you should probably continue to see him. And who knows, maybe there's something one day happened. And whatever she didn't know, her mom was right. Because after just 2 months, Nightingale asked Diamond Tiara when she was in Ponyville, when she was in Canterlot, if they wanted to be an official relationship. And she said yes. Even though they were in fact also in a long-distance relationship. But at least Canterlot was a lot closer compared to Baltimore. And during this particular time, one day, out of the blue, when there was just only Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon out of town, but when Diamond Tiara was alone for a moment, she heard a voice behind her. When she turned, it wasn't even some point that she had expected to see. It was her ex-boyfriend. Hey, Diamond. Oh, it's you. What do you want? I'm sorry I did what I did. I'm sorry. And, so where is your supposed new girlfriend of yours? Oh, that. Turns out it didn't work out. That's what I expected. So, I hadn't stopped thinking about you, and I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to try again. But then Silver Spoon came out of the store and she actually heard that part. She said, "You know, you're way too late for that." "What?" "She is already dating somebody else, and they are in a serious relationship already." "What? Who?" "It's not your business," said Diamond Tiara. "You left me like that in just because you said that you were..." And then Silver Spoon interacted, stopped her, and finished. "What do you mean that you were seeing somebody else while you were dating Diamond? You are a cheater. And do you believe that as a cheater you have a way back to her life? Think again. So can you please leave her alone? She doesn't want to have nothing to do with you ever again." But her ex-boyfriend tried, but Diamond just turned and walked away with her best friend, leaving him behind. From what she heard, eventually, he did leave town and never came back. And his best friend that lived in Ponyville heard about the breakup, and his friend was not happy what he did and told him to think about next time before anything like this happened again. And his friend just simply told him that they are no longer friends, because he could not tolerate having a friend that cheating on some partner for a long time. And his friend was really supportive to Diamond's decision not to take him back. Even when Diamond had a visit from Nightingale only a couple of days later, she informed him that her ex-boyfriend showed up out of the blue. He was like, "Wait, what? He actually did? Wait, don't tell me he just wanted to be back with you." "Yeah, he did, but I said no firmly, since I have no heart to be with somebody that cheats, you know? It's like if you cheat on me, it would never be in a second chance." I know, since there's no way for me to even be with someone like that either. But to be honest, a few years before I actually met you, when I was before I was even a full guard, I was seeing another bad pony, but I found out that she was cheating on me with another bad pony for almost 6 months. What? Yeah, I was like, what, 15, 16 at the time, and she was around the same age, and the one she's cheating me with was one of my best friends. Wow. Yeah. So, I broke that relationship and also cut ties with my best friend at the time as well, and I hadn't even seen neither of them ever since. Diamond felt happy that they had one thing in common, that they had been cheated on. And throughout the entire time, Diamond Tiara was really happy, and their relationship was growing stronger and stronger for each single day. But they were not things that they weren't happy about. That was mainly the fact that he was living in Canterlot. But as the time went on, their relationship was growing stronger and stronger for each single day. Despite their long distance, they made time to see each other. But after nearly 2 years of being this, now they were both 20 years old, they really wanted to stay always together. And the one that after 2 years, she received a letter from Nightingale, and it contained 2 tickets, one for her and for Silver Spoon. She was inviting by the letter as a date. They will sing the Grand Galloping Gala as their official date, which she had no mind with. So she went over, and on Gala, she was looking all around for Nightingale. But for the first half an hour, she couldn't even see him at all. She think that maybe that he wasn't showing up at all, maybe that he's left her. She started to feel about if she wanted to cry, but then she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned, and saw Nightingale. I'm so sorry about that, Diamond. If I'm so late, it just there were some issue at the back in the castle, or at least the barracks. One of the guards was supposed to take my shift, and I had to wait for him to he will come back and to take over my shift, So, yeah, understandable. And they enjoyed the rest of the gala together. They danced in the moonlight, but after they finished their day dancing, he went on their knees and asked her to marry him. She was stunned. Even though she had said to her best friend a couple of years earlier that she won't even get married until she's like in her 20s. And now she is 20 years old. But this was in fact one thing that she never expected to happen. But since they have been dating for 2 years, she said yes. And all the guests who saw this, diplomats, ambassadors, the royalties, nobles, and other guests, they were cheering. And after she came home, she told her parents, and they were actually both happy, especially spoiled rich. They decided to have a small wedding, even though her mom wanted to throw a big one. But she agreed to have at least a smaller wedding in Canterlot, but inviting only close friends and family. Diamond Tiara had chosen Silver Spoon as her maid of honor. She was happy for that, and on their wedding day, it was a great time for them. They even went to Las Pegasus for their honeymoon. They just had a great time, enjoying their rides, and if it's a magical performance, just having a great time. But there was one small thing that she wondered. Now they're married. Will he still working in Canterlot? To her surprise, he actually had requested a transfer to the castle in Ponyville to be one of Princess Twilight's first royal guards, which had been approved. So now they will be able to live together in Ponyville. And after being married for about 2 years, they were expecting a first child, a daughter. Both were really happy that now they're going to be a family. And after 2 more years, they had a second child, a boy. And they could not be more thrilled. Now they only have 2 children and also being married with each other they love the most. Diamond couldn't even have asked for a better partner. Even when all those years before she even met Nightingale, she was really happy to have him. Even when her ex-boyfriend in the past, when she found out that he had been interested in somebody else, when he had the audacity to come back to begging to take him back for a second try, which she did indeed. Diamond could not have been happier to have found her true love with that one royal guard. Especially, he made a vow that he would always protect her and their family. She could not have been happier. And this is how Diamond Tiara and Nightingale, for their true love, got a big family together. The end.